Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to the Woman to Woman show where we believe truth plus transparency equals healing. Tonight, I am happy to be here with my girls, Theo, Sheila, and Regina, and we are ready to just have a good discussion tonight. But as you know, if you have tuned in week after week after week, that you know that we love to start with a moment of gratitude. We love to share one thing that we're grateful for, and it doesn't have to be anything big. And please share in the chat with us your comments on one thing that you're grateful for so we can start this night off right. So ladies, open up your mics, and whoever wants to come in first, just tell me one thing that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for love. Just love.
Well, what a wonderful thing to be grateful for.
I'm grateful for love this evening. For whatever reason that was on my heart, just love.
Well, we love you.
I love you guys.
Yes. I am grateful that I am beginning to get some clarity around some things that I've been sitting still and listening to God and just really getting clear on what's next for me.
Oh, nice. Sheila?
I'm not grateful for anything in particular this week. I am just grateful, period, for everything from having an employment, having a family, having a home, just everything.
Awesome. And I am grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight and just to have honest, open conversation between sisters, and just to give us the opportunity to just be able to be free and let the conversation, wherever God leads the conversation, because we come on every week with a topic, but God kind of sort of directs the conversation to where he wants it to go. So I'm grateful for these conversations, for us to be able to share, pour, and just get the support that we need each week. So let's talk about this topic tonight, ladies. So we all know what's going on with Will Smith, and we all know that there's not an official movement like Me Too movement, but there's a movement, protect Black women, right? Women are going around saying that they don't feel, Black women are going around saying that they don't feel protected. We are treated the worst, and a lot of other things that are being said. So we know that on the Oscars, and we're not on here because it's a trending topic or anything. It's a relevant topic for us as women, right? For us to have this conversation of what it is protecting a Black woman looks like, because we are of the same age of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, and how the incident, and Chris Rock, and how that incident happened. So it's the reason why we're having this conversation, because it's relevant, not because everybody's talking about it. And this is our space, right? We are big on mental health, self-care. We are big on harmony in our life. We are big on coaching. I have a book called Men Hurt Too. So the reason why we're talking about this is because it's relevant and necessary, because I want people to understand. I don't want people to think we gossiping, because that's not what we're here for. So with that being said, we know that Chris Rock, Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars because Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett, and it was taken by Will and Jada that he was picking at her bald head. And we know that some of us know. Let me clear that up, because we want to set this up right. We want to set the stage right. A lot of us know, because we follow Jada Pinkett, that Jada Pinkett has alopecia, that she lost her hair because of a condition, not because she wanted to shave her head, because there are millions and millions of black women right now who are going natural, straight natural, shaving their head. And kudos to them, because I can't, because I got this long chin. But there's a lot of black women who love the short hair, but that wasn't Jada's decision. Jada had to cut her hair because her hair was falling out. So Chris Rock made this comment, and Jada felt disrespected. But we saw Will laugh at first, hard, and then we saw Will get up after his wife's reaction and go up on the stage and slap Chris Rock. So let's talk about this, ladies. Um, how far? Let's start with this. How far does a man have to go to prove that he is protecting his wife and his family? And any of you guys can jump in.
Well, I'll just say that, I don't really watch TV, so I didn't know what was going on. I just saw it starting to trend on social media, right? And so everything that I probably learned about it was from social media. So I take a lot of it, lightly. But I think it depends on the situation. But I think actually at the age that we are, right, that putting your hands on someone is not the way that I would want to be protected, right, as a Black woman. I think that, there were a variety of ways that it could have been handled, which is to wait till later and pull them aside and have a conversation. But I just feel like for me, when I think of being protected by a man, it's someone that's going to respect me. They're going to, cover me as far as protection, like to make sure that I'm safe, that my heart is guarded, that they're taking care of me, and how they represent themselves also I see as a form of protection, because I don't want you running around being a loose cannon. I want you to show some type of self-control.
Come on now. Come on, ladies, jump on.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Theo said. I was actually watching it. I looked forward to watching it because I really don't do award shows anymore. And I haven't really done the Oscars in even a long time, except for like I might catch it at the very end if I'm still awake because I want to see who won those major awards. So I was looking forward to it, and I watched it from the very beginning because number one, you had um, Will Packer and an all Black crew doing everything behind the scenes for this show. And I just love the diversity. So when it came to that point, the first thing
Sheila, can I stop you for 1 second?
yes.
I just want people to know that you're a married woman. So we're single, the three of us, but this is coming from a married woman perspective of watching somebody's husband get up and slap another man. So
Yeah.
I just want people to be aware of our status of if we're married or not. So continue.
Yep, and that does and for some people that makes a difference too. So when I saw first Will laughing, and then I saw him going up the stage, and you're trying to notice the interaction. So the first thing you're thinking is this part of the scene, right? And seeing Chris talking and laughing, and then seeing the physical hit. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind was that it was staged. And then when the mics went mute and Chris's facial expression changed and he was still talking, but you couldn't hear what he was saying, that's when you knew that the dynamics had changed. So my first inclination was, because I saw Jada's face the entire, and I knew Jada was not happy about that joke. But it was like, okay, because it's not the first time that a celebrity has not laughed at a joke. There have been times when the entire audience didn't laugh. But again, that was opposite of what Will was doing.
Right.
So it totally took me off guard, definitely. And the act of violence to me stood out. To me, that was not a form of protection. And I started to see this online a lot today. But my first thought was the minute that my husband caught wind of how I felt, if I saw that he was making any kind of gesture to get up, to say something, my hand would have been on his, saying,
Right.
"Baby, don't. We'll take care of this."
Right.
Because if anything, now he's got to worry about my mouth, but that's behind the scenes. But if I'm not physically in danger, I would not expect my husband to put himself in physical harm.
Woo. 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 Wee. That was good from the married woman. Now, there's 2 points there that she said.
Mhm.
If I saw my husband, because she knew, and this is not to blame anybody, this is just how, a lot of people say if you're not married, you can't speak on this. She knew that this wasn't staged. And we can speak on this because each and every one of us have been married, each and every one of us have been in relationships, and I can say that 85%, and I'll look it up, but I'm going to say 85. I would say 90, but I don't want to go over the top. But I'll say 85% of us as black women who have been in relationships, whether married or a relationship, have experienced where our significant other felt disrespected by us, by a man being slick at the mouth, or a man passing by too close, or a man looking too hard. And we as adults, and you guys can speak to this once I say it, have automatically diffused the situation. I've been in situations with my exes where their ego kicked in, and the man looked at me wrong, or kind of sort of touched my hand on the bar, or walked past me too close, or said something out of line, "Hey baby," and he like, she with me. I've been in those situations where I said, we not even doing that. He ain't even worth it. Let's go. Let's go sit down. Come on, it's okay. Even if he was up in arms about it, of no, he ain't got no. And this is, and we're talking right now because we're all over 50,
Mhm.
and Jade is a 50-year-old woman, and Will is a 50 something year old man. So go ahead, Regina. You want? Oh, Theo, you want to say something?
I was gonna say for real. Like I've been in that situation where I was dating a guy and we were in the city and we were crossing the street and this guy in his car looked like he was coming to close or whatever, and it stopped at the light and my dude like banged on the car and I was like, come on, we ain't doing this. Keep walking, right? It is not even that serious, right? And so when first of all, from what I was reading, right? Because like I said, I don't watch a lot of TV. I wasn't watching the Oscars. Everyone was saying that it's really not his character, Will's character, to be that way. I don't know if it is or if it isn't, right? But at the end of the day, you you could sense. I wasn't watching it, but I'm sure she could sense. Wait a minute, he's about to get up, right? Let me just like Sheila said, stop, baby. This is not the time. This is not the place, right? And keep it moving, right? We definitely as women, whether we are married or whether we're in relationships, we know what to do or what to say and how to calm the person that we're dating down.
Exactly. Come on in, Regina.
Yes, like Theo and Sheila has said, I was in a situation, not a bad situation. I was out, me and the guy that I was dating, we were out at a sports bar, and he was on the inside sitting, and I was on the outside. And the guys next to me start talking to me, but it was no big deal. He was just asking me like simple questions. So my guy said, "Do you know him?" I was like, "No, he's just asking conversations." He said, "Oh, okay." So I could sense he got enough of it. And then he said, "I need you to step on the inside." So I felt like when he said that, I did it. And it was like he was getting upset, but to avoid anything. And I felt comfortable enough. He pushed me on the inside, left it alone, didn't say nothing to the dude, but it was a way of controlling if he was coming, out of any kind of way. We didn't mention it, but it's like it's signs you knew. It was no big thing. We had a great time. We came home, we laughed. We didn't say nothing else about it. But I really respected him for that because he didn't take it, jump up and say, "Why are you looking at my girl?" All this craziness. If he got too uncomfortable, he just said, "Babe, step on the inside. I want you to be on the inside." And that was cool. So for Will to do all of that, And there's been other situations like both you guys have mentioned where, even with my ex-husband, he felt someone, especially at church, because he would say, the men always hugging women at church, they're just trying to get a feel. So I've had to diffuse that, that church hug. And and my husband really got upset one time about that. And I had to sit down and talk because I said, it's not a hug like they're trying to grab me, but he really didn't like that. And one time he almost kind of went off at a guy at church, and I had to diffuse the situation before it got really uncomfortable. So I agree, when to say, pull back with your man.
And this is what I'm saying. And
Mhm.
we've gotten to a point in society as Black women where we are making men feel like they have to prove something to
Mhm.
us, right? They're feeling emasculated, and we can't do this to them, right? We
Mhm.
can't make a man feel like. And Will and Jada, we all know, have been through some stuff. We all know that they've been in the public light, and we all know that there's been some jokes told. We all know that the last award show they was at, Laverne Cox said something about the entanglement right on the red carpet, and that was an embarrassing moment for them. And we have to understand, one thing I want to say is that Will is human, right?
Mhm.
Will's a human being. And my take on this whole thing is, people were like, we can't have, as Black women, we can't have movements where we use violence. We can't have moments where there's violence or disruption or boundaries crossed where we use it to our advantage to say it's about time somebody protected a Black woman. We can't use these things to our advantage like that. We have to understand that this wasn't even about Will protecting Jada, because protection comes when a person is in harm's way, right? Protection comes when a person is in harm's way. Now, if you say women want to feel secure, that's a different conversation. If you want to say women want to feel secure and protected are two different things, right? So we can't use these moments like this where a Black man hits another Black man to say, finally, Black men are protecting Black women. This wasn't a moment where anybody needed to be protected, because protection comes when you are in harm's way. If he had touched her head, or if he had grabbed her, or if any of those things, but words, we cannot allow ourselves, like I said, to use these movements to our advantage as Black women. Cory Booker protected the Honorable Judge Jackson, right? Remember, they were ripping her apart. They were just like, she was on a witness stand, like they were trying to prosecute her. He protected that Black woman by saying, you're not going to let them steal this moment from you. He didn't get up and slap nobody, even though I bet he wanted to. I bet he wanted to slap a few because they really deserved it. And we don't promote violence here either. But that is a moment where a Black woman needed to feel secure that she wasn't there alone. And the way that he handled that was the proper way to say, you are worthy of being here. That's protecting a Black woman. You deserve to be here. Your reputation speaks for itself, your character, your experience, not putting your hands on somebody. And again, Will, and I have a whole book, Men Hurt Too, and the first line of my book says men are human beings first. So I think that Will has gotten to his boiling point of, the slap really was for August, the guy who started this whole thing with his family, because that's where it all began. Laverne Cox, who disrespected them about that entanglement. Jada, who disrespected him. The 9-year-old little boy inside of him who felt like he couldn't protect his mother when he was growing up. Bullied on a playground. All of those things have been boiling inside Will. Every time we see Will, Will is crying. And I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I'm very aware of Black men because this is what I do. I'm an advocate for Black men. And Chris Rock caught the butt of the straw that broke the camel's back, because I don't even think that Chris Rock was saying that she was GI Jane because of any type of condition. He it wasn't even about a bald head. He don't even know she shaved her head because of a condition. So I just think that we have to be mindful that we as women, as Black women, because this is Black women, Black men, we as Black women cannot push our men to the point they have to prove that they're going to protect us. We cannot push them to the point where they feel emasculated, that they have to snatch their manhood back because Will Smith was not protecting Black women. Will Smith was protecting Will Smith's 9-year-old ego that had been knocked down one too many times.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like I said, I didn't watch it. Everything I saw was on social media, so I was really taking it lightly. But the first thing I thought of was that wasn't about her hair. That
Nope.
I was like, that was about something totally else. There was a lot of other stuff going on. So that's the first thing I want to say. Like, that was my first reaction when I saw it. I was like, that was more than that joke, right? And then as more stuff started coming out, they were like, well, one, Chris didn't even know she had alopecia. Two, he was reading the teleprompter. Like, the joke was written by the writers, right?
Can you say that again?
They say he was reading the teleprompter and that he didn't write the joke. Like,
Can you say that again?
He did not write the joke.
Can you say that again?
They said
I'm sorry.
They said he didn't write the joke. I mean, I don't know what's true, what's not, but they say he didn't write the joke, that he was reading it. And some people was like, well, he should have just passed it over, but he didn't pass it over because he didn't know she had alopecia. So he just was reading what was on the teleprompter, right? So there's that. And then the other thing, when it talks about protection, I'm thinking back to, like you said, Judge Katani, right? Protection was when her husband, at the end of those proceedings, held her in his arms and kissed her on her forehead.
Come through, sis.
Right?
Come through, sis.
That was protection. Like,
Come through, sis.
when I watched him do that, like when I saw that picture of her with her head against her husband's chest and him kissing her on her forehead after she had went through all of that asinine, excuse my language, questioning, right? Where someone would have the audacity to ask her to define what a woman is.
Come
right?
on.
Along with some of the other crap she had to go through. When I saw that picture, like that right there almost brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, that's protection. Right? That's protection.
And can you imagine how he felt sitting there through those proceedings, not being able to say anything, not
being able to slap somebody,
do anything? Exactly.
Woo.
So he ended up protecting her and securing her the best way that he knew how, because he kept his composure and he knew that, for lack of a better term, that this was a life or death situation for his wife. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't going to do anything to mess that up, but she knew, and I know she felt it as well, that he was there to support her and cheer her on. And the first opportunity he got, he protected and he secured her.
Exactly. And
he knew, right. And he knew that him sitting there and not jumping up, blasting off at the end or trying to catch somebody in the hallway, that his wife was not going to think about him as a punk. This is what we must do for our Black men. We must tell them, because you didn't jump up when old boy said something, or because when that person stepped on your foot, or because when stuff seemed like it was going down and you were supposed to go left and you held your composure, I don't think that you're a punk.
Yeah.
I think you're a grown-ass man for controlling yourself when you want to go in somebody's mouth. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of Black women, and I'm saying this, and you could be mad at me if you want, who expect that behavior. And if it doesn't happen, they will go home and they will ridicule their man. They will go home and they will say, oh, you didn't even say nothing. It wasn't the time to say anything. We're 50 years old. We're 52 years old. We're 55 years old. We're 37. We're not out in these streets no more, out here like this. Unless somebody, my mother, all our mothers taught us this, unless they put their hands on you. And I'm telling you, this is my exact words. I'm 90% Christian. I'm 10% Cardi B. Please do not slap me.
Yeah.
Because if you slap me, I'm going to lay these hands. And that's my word. And Jesus going to have to forgive me in the morning. And I know the Bible says turn the other cheek. But my mama taught me if somebody hit you, you hit them back.
Yeah. So you come home and you get hit.
Right. And again, I love the fact that Chris Rock did not blast off, but there's an interview of him. Chris Rock has a special need, right? Like Jermaine, like it's not autism or Asperger's, but he has a condition where he doesn't understand body cues, body language.
Mm-hmm.
He did not know that he was going to get hit.
Yeah.
And when he did, he didn't know how to respond to it because he has a condition. Just like, and I want to say this too really quickly. Everybody that was going in on, Jada has a condition and that was wrong and this and that. Let me say this for every person that's listening out here right now, and I'm gonna say this, and it doesn't offend me, but when I'm thinking about somebody having a condition and a person telling a joke, I get this all the time. My youngest child, Jermaine, has autism. He's 12 years old. He's on his 13, soon to be in May. He's on the autism spectrum. He's nonverbal. He's special needs. He goes to school. He's in a contained class, right? He's in a class with one other little boy, and he has a teacher and an aide. My son rides the short yellow bus. Let me just be clear on this with y'all about comedians and jokes. And not only comedians, but jokes around the people who I'm around. My son rides a short yellow bus. How many of y'all have said, how many of y'all have heard somebody say, and how many of y'all have laughed when somebody made a stupid comment or somebody didn't know the answer to a question and somebody said, you must have rode the short yellow bus to school. Now I should bust you upside your head or slap you or curse you out because my special needs son rides the short yellow bus. So the next time you decide that you want to say, you must have rode the short yellow bus, understand my son has a condition where he has to ride the short yellow bus and that shit is offensive. But again, it's not offensive to me because I know it's a joke. Because before I had a special needs son, when one of my friends would say something stupid or we were in a conversation joking around or they didn't know the answer, I would say, girl, you must have rode the short yellow bus or they must have put a helmet on your head when you went out to protect you from your stupidity. So I want people to understand comedians tell jokes. Comedians tell jokes about handicapped people. And they've been doing it for years and years and years to come. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. Nobody's harming anybody. We have to stop being so touchy and picky. And this man the joke was not on her ailment. The joke was not on her condition. The joke was a joke that somebody else wrote, like Theo said, and even if he wrote it, the joke was G.I. Jane is bad. G.I. Jane, I didn't even take it that way. I didn't even get it until it hit and everybody started explaining what happened. So again, jokes are jokes. Comedians make jokes. What was his name? Damon Wayans. He had the whole skit Handyman. Back in the day, remember on Living Color? He had Handyman. It was a skit about handicapped people. And I think he had a shorter leg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, here's the reality, right? No judgment. I have no opinion one way or another because actually, after I started seeing how it was trending, and I started getting all these text messages, I literally texted back to a couple of my friends. I was like, listen, I'm done with this conversation. Can we get back to trying to get the first Black woman elected to the Supreme Court? Can we get back to that? Because this right here is a distraction.
Mm-hmm. And you know what though? And Regina and Sheila, feel free to jump in. It's a necessary distraction because this is coming from the root of Black women saying, we don't feel protected by Black men. And a Black man felt the need to get up and protect his wife by assaulting somebody else. So our languaging needs to change. The conversation is necessary, not for trending, not for memes. The conversation is necessary for us to understand that Black men are under tremendous amounts of pressure to protect, to provide, to make you feel secure. We have to have boundaries and limits when we start telling our Black men that I don't feel protected so they don't go out shooting and slapping and killing people. We also have to have boundaries on public figures who have platforms where other people are watching to say you need to be held accountable, Will Smith, so other people don't go out here when they feel offended by a comedian and jump on the stage and slap the comedian. Or when people in the streets feel offended by somebody, that they don't get to lay their hands on anybody. There was a message that was sent, and that's why this is a necessary conversation. Not because it's funny, not because Will Smith is, a van, not because any of these other things, not because of an entanglement, because you did something on national TV and you are a public figure and an influencer. And
Yeah.
you need to tell people I apologize to this man for putting my hands on him. And please, nobody take this as a signal to go forward, because that's the scary part.
And it's crazy because that's exactly what a lot of comedians were saying. Like one comedian was like, I hope y'all don't take this as license that I could come up to the stage, because trust, what happened, we will not be crucified. Like
Right.
David Arnold was like, if Will had had me, we would have still been fighting the next morning, right? Like, and so comedians was like, yo, don't take this as the license that you can now just walk up on stage and hit a comedian because we said something that you don't like.
Because we are not, no. Sheila and Regina, come on in.
I think a better look to me, I would, if he made that little joke, and like I didn't watch the Oscars. I'm like Theo. I kind of didn't know what was going on until I saw all the commotion on social media. So he went over there. It would have been a better look, and I would have really respected him. Yeah, this is not GI Joe. Mona kissed Jada, hugged her, picked her up, and made a little joke out of it, and they would have went on about their business. So
right,
why not that? But I know in the heat of the moment, he was angry, he was mad. But respect to me is like you guys are saying, hold me, caress me, tell me, baby, it's gonna be okay. I got you. We got each other. We gonna do this, and walk away with your head saying up like Barack and Michelle.
yes, the scrutiny that she took.
Yes.
He should have been, if he had to prove, if he had to prove himself as a man. And this is what we have to think about to each and every one of us. We cannot be worried about what people are going to think about us. We cannot be worried about what people are going to say, because let me tell you this, right? Will Smith would have been wrong either way. Had he protected her, he would have been wrong for slapping him. Had he not said anything, he would have been wrong for not saying anything, whether it was at home, whether we have to be so secure in ourselves that we don't worry about what another person thinks. Because when we start to be people pleasers, when we start to do things because we're worried about what people think, we're always going to have the wrong reaction, because it's not our gut instinct that this is not right, I'm not going to do this. It's a thought of, what are they going to think? People going to think. And again, Will's been through a lot over the last 2 years, a lot of public trashing, bashing, memes, a lot of stuff. This was a matter of, to me, of him protecting his ego. Tomorrow morning, I'd rather they say I slapped the shit out of Chris Rock than them to say I'm a punk, because I'm tired of that. Everybody, Will, you crying. Look at this, he this and he that, he weak. His wife is running things. That was a moment in his a bad choice, based on the fact that I'm so tired of people pulling me down and calling me names and acting like I'm soft. So I'm just gonna do this. And he just really, really snapped. And again, we pray for Will Smith, because everybody has a breaking point, right? And we don't know, maybe somebody else said something to Jada, or maybe he just saw something online, or whatever it was. And we have to make sure, again, this is, my mother always told me this, and I always say this to y'all too. Don't be nobody last straw. And what we're seeing right now, we have to be very careful with people like Kanye. This was a slap. When you see people who feel like they're imploding, a lot of men are imploding. After the implosion comes the explosion, and somebody gets hurt, like that man that killed his children's mother. He had imploded for so long that by the time he exploded, it wasn't a slap. It was shooting 2 women to death. So we have to make sure when we're driving in our cars and somebody speed past or don't let us go by, let them go. You don't know if they're going to the hospital to see their sick mama. You don't know if their baby died. If you don't know if they rushing, you don't know if this is their last. If they late to work, they're going to get fired. You don't know what that person is going through, or they were late to work and they got fired. and then you say something and people wondering why people jumping out of cars and shooting people. You never want to be somebody's last straw. Come on in, Sheila.
So I'm going to ask you to indulge me because my personal story is going to lend a little credence to my perspective. So it's probably about in 2001. I used to go to someone who was doing hair in her basement. She was a licensed beautician. And I can remember it because my son was still in a car seat. Okay. So and had him in the carrier as I'm going to get my hair done. So you're talking about 2001, right around that time, probably. And she's doing my hair and she says, "Oh, did you know that you have a little bald spot right there?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." So I chalked it up to stress from financial worries, stress from the demise of my marriage, and the prior hairdresser who I had let put streaks in my hair for the very first time. Slowly but surely, I noticed the spot was getting larger and larger. Um, but I was able to cover it up. It did, it was just, it didn't mean too much. And then eventually I was actually doing comb over. I could only style my hair a certain way. Um,
Wow.
when I had a change in high blood pressure medication, I noticed that the progression of hair loss had accelerated.
Wow.
And I had the doctor tell me, "Oh, no, it has absolutely nothing to do with the medication." I went to see a dermatologist, um, diagnosed me with a general form of or a special form of alopecia. Um,
Wow.
had I had a biopsy in my scalp.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
taking cortisone injections. So fast forward to today. So you're talking about a 20-year journey that I've been going through. And the irony to it is that I was so anti-weave. Okay, I was one who never wore weaves, didn't understand it. But now between weaves and crochets, that's what I wear because you know how we talk about our hair being our crowning glory. I don't have a crown. I
Wow.
have a damn good stylist who is able to hide the extreme of my alopecia. So
Wow.
here I am, almost 57 years old. And again, you're talking about like a 20-year journey that I've been going through. So when I heard Jada first talking about it, I totally related to what she was saying. A
Mm.
little bit envious because even though she had cut her hair short, she was still able to wear just her hair. And when she finally took that leap to cut it all off, and I said, you know what? That's my inspiration right there. I'm not ready yet because just like with that most things, you have to be 100% ready. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not ready yet. But one summer, because it has to be during the summer, because I can't imagine doing it when it's cold. I'm going to take that leap and I'm going to thank Jada for it. Okay.
Mm.
Um, so and talk about some securing. One day when I was actually doing my hair, um, my husband came into the room and he saw how much hair was gone.
Mm.
So he says to me, he said, "Babe, why don't you just cut it all off?" He said,
Aw.
"I support you 100% and you'll look fine."
Mm.
And all I could do was say thank you. So I know that when that day comes, for me, it's actually going to be a celebration because I
Mm.
had it all planned out in my mind. I'm going to have my sisters there with me. I'm going to have my husband. He's going to make the first shave.
Wow.
Everybody that comes to celebrate with me is going to have to bring me some of the flyest earrings because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be rocking my bald head with my earrings. I said I was probably going to, maybe I'm going to try to hold out till 60 if my hair allows me to do that, what I have left. Because
Mm.
by the time I get 60, I'm not going to care about too much of anything. But
Wow.
the joke was not offensive to me. And I didn't think it would have been. And again, I can't put myself into anybody's shoes, but Jada had made a declaration. She took a stand. She empowered women that
Mm.
your hair is not you. I am not my hair. I am
Yes.
not my lack
Yes.
of. So I admired her for that. I actually saw it as a step backwards because I didn't take it from that. I knew what Chris meant when he said G.I. Jane. Um,
Right.
so I was really surprised. It was like, to the extent that she had disdain for that joke. And again, everybody has their own feeling about it. But as a woman suffering from alopecia, I have learned that there are less things to that are going to cause me angst than
Mm.
having hair.
Wow. Oh my God.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
that
Thank you
was
so
so
much for
great.
your
Yeah,
transparency. My God.
yeah. And
Mm.
I was gonna say what you even made me think of is right from what people were saying, right? She rolled her eyes, right? And so was it that she really had disdain for the joke? Or was it that just this past history of Chris Rock always taking shots at her, as people have been saying he does? Maybe the eye roll was like, here he go again, right? And so, and the other side of it is maybe what could have been what Sheila just talked about, she was feeling, that slap made it into more than she even would have wanted it to be, right?
Right.
Like it took away from her appreciating
Her
that
bald
she that
head.
baldness and that she did this because maybe that rolling in the eye was like, you know what, here this dude go again, right? And now you done smacked this dude, and now you done took how I was embracing my hair and made it into something that people might think that I'm afraid of, or I'm fearful of, or I'm not liking. There's
Right.
so much to this.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Sheila. Like, thank you so much for your
That
transparency.
was that was
And I'm
awesome, and I
and
want to
I'm
be part of the celebration.
yes, and I'm so glad that Jada is an inspiration to you, but you being a real woman, and I mean not famous, you being a real woman that women come to watch us every week.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know this. This is why we're here to encourage, inspire, and motivate a woman to love herself at your own pace. Like you said, I'm not ready right now. I rock my weaves, I rock my wigs, I rock my braids, I rock my hats, I rock my gun. I'm not ready right now, but I will be one day. So I get it. And I just want other women who are listening right now to know that nobody takes alopecia lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody takes any condition lightly, but we must be able to control ourselves because ever since we were kids, people played the dozens. It was it
Mm-hmm.
and sticks, and that's why our parents had to teach us sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. So that we don't go around like this is the wild, wild west, beating on each other, yelling and screaming at each other, hitting each other, so that we can learn tolerance to have conversations to say, my friend Sheila has alopecia. That joke's not funny.
Yeah.
Right. And if Will would have got up and said, let me say this, even let me just say, my wife suffers from alopecia. So be careful what you say as a comedian
Mm-hmm.
because some things are not funny. Like I said about the short yellow bus, I've told some people, it don't bother me, but some people really have children who are really severely autistic or severely disabled, and the joke's just not funny. And I know we've been saying it for years because somebody started, you must ride the short yellow bus. I mean, I used to say it all the time. I don't say it anymore because I'm aware now that my son rides a short yellow bus because he needs extra help, not because he's
Mm-hmm.
stupid. But when a person makes a stupid comment, a person will say, you must ride the short yellow bus. Like people who ride the short yellow bus are stupid. They're not, they have special needs. So we have to watch what we're saying because, again, you don't know if it's a parent who has a child that is severely autistic, who is exhausted, who is tired of hearing jokes. So we just need to be mindful as a society that everybody is going through something. And we also need to be mindful that you cannot put your hands on somebody if you don't need to protect yourself. Protection for us as Black women, and I'm speaking from my opinion and my how I feel I need to be protected. Protection for me as a Black woman is if I am in harm's way, if a person is going to hurt me physically,
Right.
right? If a person breaks into my house, If a person is going to hurt me physically, Jada was not in harm's way. You did not need to jump in front of a bullet. Nothing was going to happen to her. And had he not did what he did, nobody would even care. Nobody would even was even thinking about. I wasn't even thinking about when he said G.I. Jane. I was thinking that he was saying, because she's a little strong lady. Like, I wasn't thinking about her bald head. I didn't even equate the two. So he made a beautiful night where he really deserved his flowers, right? Because so many times we give the icons their flowers when they're gone. This was a big night for Will Smith as a man, as an actor, as a person, as a human, as carrying himself a certain way, to tarnish it because of a joke. And y'all know I always say this: self-control
It's the
is
beginning
the
of
beginning
winning.
of winning. When you can control yourself, the world will not puppet you. Every time
Absolutely.
you get out of control and somebody can say something or do something to make you come at a character, you have just become a puppet to the world. Self control is the beginning of winning. Go ahead, Sheila.
One of the few things that I noticed is that a lot of the people who are siding both with Will and Jada about this, particularly Black women who are saying, oh, we're really sensitive about our hair, are the same ones who have made jokes about women not having edges.
Mhm.
Right. Come on,
You know,
Sheila.
I can tell you, even, and again, it took me a while to start talking about it. I don't arbitrarily just sit down and say to people, hey,
Mhm.
look, I have alopecia. But if it works its way into a conversation as we're talking, I've had people ask, oh, your hair looks really good. I have a very good stylist, because you would never know that I have alopecia and I don't have any hair on the top of my head.
Mm,
You know, that's
But
kudos to our stylist, right?
But you know what's
Um,
so
mm,
great about that, Sheila, is you're not just helping people that have alopecia. You're helping people like me that doesn't have edges, right? That person that wants to go natural, but is doesn't want to, right? Because they're not sure how they're gonna look being natural, right? So
mm,
just you being so transparent has helped a lot of women today that will look at this now or look at it later and say, you know what, I am not my hair.
come on now.
Exactly.
Come on, ladies. Come on, Regina. You
Exactly.
wanted
yeah,
to say something?
Hair
I
was
might as
the
well
wrong way to
say,
go.
Sheila, welcome to the club because I did it at 62. My hair is, this is bald.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
September 30th, I had such a bad month, 2021. I was getting my hair done. I had the locks. That's what the picture is of the locks. I went to my stylist. I said I had to have my, and I've been wanting to do it for months. I mean, years. I took some medicine, so it's not alopecia. They said, because they said it's growing, but it's very thin. So I said, cut it all off. Cut it off at 62. I don't care.
Wow.
And she said, are
Wow.
you sure? I said, I'm sure. Am I all the way comfortable? No, but as you say, I'm not my hair. This is it. This is it
Wow.
here. But hey,
I love y'all so much.
listen.
I
But
promise y'all.
So
I was
I
gonna
it's,
promise
say,
y'all.
when you hit when you hit 60, that's one thing I can tell you. You don't care.
Y'all about to make me cry.
no,
Cause this
Sheila, I might be doing it with you.
So I want to be there to
you're muted. You're on
you
mute. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we'll have a party.
yeah.
I love you guys. I love you guys. I love this
So
platform. I
this
love.
made me like really embrace it and not like you
Mhm.
speaking. Even though I did it, it made me so much more comfortable now because I'll be up here like, let me just try to pull this. But
Aw.
It
Aw.
was so much more work. Especially before I started, adding
mhm,
stuff to it. It was so much work, because now I'm in the mirror looking at the back of my head, making sure that
Oh,
I have everything covered up.
Mm.
wow. This
yeah.
is this is so good. And I'm gonna go to our therapy card. We
Yeah.
almost didn't make it,
I was
but
gonna say,
we're gonna get to our therapy card because it's a good one. It's so on topic. I don't know how we always get the card that just belongs. Y'all are helping people tonight. Thank you, Janie. Thank
yeah.
you so much. So we're gonna get to our therapy card. And the therapy card is for those who are listening every week. If you just tuned in, you tuned into the Woman to Woman show, where we believe truth plus transparency equals healing. If you see us tonight, this is why we're here. because we didn't know this conversation was even going to be about this. We thought
Nope.
this conversation was about protecting Black women, and this went where it was supposed to go. But every week we're
Exactly.
here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel or the Woman to Woman Facebook page. You can go to the Woman to Woman Facebook page and like it and join us in there and join in on the conversation. The ladies are going to be in there more. We're going to be in there more to engage now that these conversations are growing and flowing and it is really helping people. Oops, I just spit, my bad. But anyway, live, just in case somebody saw it. I know I got tissue right
Listen,
here.
at least you spit and you by yourself. You ain't spit on nobody.
Right. So our therapy question, each week we have a therapy question that we usually do at 8:30 by Dr. Ebony. You go to drebony.com. She has therapy cards. The question is, when I am feeling shame, I blank. And the exercise is share or talk to someone you trust about how you respond to and cope with shame. When I am feeling shame, I blank.
Wow.
Isn't that a good one?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I could start because I will say I think I went through this.
Okay.
Because when I was feeling shame, I think I was probably at my lowest, and it's kind of why I spiraled into that whole functional depression, right?
Wow.
Because I became uh like I tried to isolate, right?
Wow.
And I tried to hide because I was ashamed, and I hadn't even did anything, but at that point I had to go through, what I had to do the work, right, to heal from it. But I would say that I think so. I would say probably when I'm feeling shamed, I isolate and I try to hide,
Wow.
right? Because like that whole situation for me, like I was like, oh my God, how could you be so stupid? How could you're supposed to be smart? How could you let that happen? How didn't you see that? And then it was kind of like, if I am not around people, or if when I am around people, I'm just acting like I'm good and I'm happy and all of that, they may never know how I really feel, right? But when I was home, I was feeling like, damn, I can't believe, like, how did you end up here, right?
Wow.
And so I would say for me, I would say it's probably I don't do it anymore because I'm mindful of it. But I would say there was a time when I have to say whenever I'm feeling like shame that I probably try to isolate, or which allows me to hide whatever it is I'm going through, or
Wow.
from people.
Wow. Sheila or Regina?
I retreat. I retreat
Mm.
and then I become silent. Um, at some point, and generally not right away, I'll try to be reflective and introspective about it. But initially, I'm more than likely am having that. Why is this happening to me? Why am I feeling this way? I have my pity party first,
Mhm.
um,
Oh,
but I
okay.
but I need to be away and in my own thoughts and in my own feelings and let that all play out first before I can see what's behind it, or even if I need to see what's behind it and what my next move is going to be.
Wow. That was good. That was good. Come on, Regina.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
we're all in the same place because
yes.
I isolate too. And honestly, Sheila, you made me feel so much better because one of the things that I go through, I won't take pictures now because of my hair.
Oh my goodness.
So it was just so, even though I walk around like this, and I know I need to update my picture for the Woman to Woman show, but I'm like, I just don't like it every time I try to take. But I walk
Oh,
around. But I can't wear weaves. I can't wear wigs because I can't wear that kind of stuff because I always feel like something's on top of my head and I want to pull it off. So it just
right.
like hats and stuff. So it was a big step, and you just released me right now. So I no longer feel ashamed, and I'm going to
Oh.
walk in my truth. And
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Oh.
And again, I mean,
Cry.
yeah, we're here to help each other because, like I said, I was so anti weave. There was a time, look, I used to get
I
the
just
weaves.
can't wear them. I can't.
Just
I feel like I was snap. One time I tried to wear a wig. This one I had full hair. I was on the turnpike or something. I in Jersey, I went at work. The wig got on my head so bad. I was driving. I went bloop, and the guy went like this. I really can't. I
Oh my
tried.
goodness, that is so funny. When I feel shame, let me just say when I feel shame, I just act like it's nothing happening. I'm gonna tell the truth. I just pretend like
Mm.
I'm not. I don't feel shame, and it's inside of me, but I pretend like nothing's happened. I don't isolate. I don't, walk. I don't stay away from people. I don't do. I just pretend like I'm not feeling shame, which is not a good thing because we should always recognize and deal with our feelings. We should never suppress or pretend like something's not happening to us because it leads to something else like depression, like anger, like rage. It's going to turn into something else if you don't acknowledge it and deal with it. If you don't deal with your feelings will deal with you. So I've learned that when I do feel shame, and this has taken years of us working on ourselves, Theo, because we've been working on ourselves for years, that I need to talk to somebody and I need to work that thing out. After I process it myself, I need to say,
Mhm.
why am I feeling shame about this? What is going on? And then I can go talk to somebody that I trust and just be able to just express my feelings and let it go.
Yeah.
So listen, this has been so good. First of all, I just always want to thank you guys for your transparency. I want to thank you guys for your truth because somebody said this has really we really helped some people tonight. And again, our mission and our vision is that if we help one person, we have done what God has called us to do. It doesn't have to be the masses and it doesn't have to be the millions. If one person gleaned anything from this conversation tonight, and even if it's one of us, and Regina did, and Sheila, I
Yeah.
don't know if I would have said, I don't know if I would have told people tonight. I don't know. I'm just saying because, you
That helped.
know,
Yeah,
So thank
that
you.
that
yes.
release that just made me just wow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, and there was a time when I wouldn't tell anybody. Now
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it because I've grown to accept it. And
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
this when I was getting
acceptance.
to the point, because the irony too is that there was even one point where it looked like my hair was actually growing back because I was able to take it and actually pull it back in a ponytail. And the most of the bald spot was covered, but then within a matter of weeks, that was all gone. And
Wow.
even my stylist was just like, wow. And I've been going to her. She's been doing my hair for about 15 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Um, so and even with her, the same thing that day that I came in there, and she was like, what happened? So to see those changes, so it's just gotten to the point where I've accepted it is what it is. I'm not going to turn around and and pull my weave out to let you see, but
Mm-hmm.
but
Right. Yeah, no, we don't want you to.
right,
Don't it
I'm
ain't that
talking about
serious.
yeah, right. I'm talking about it because it's something that we need to know that we
Mm-hmm.
can embrace and we can handle it, and it is not who we are. Do I still sit back and say, if sometimes I'm like, if only, if there's something that I can take that would just give me hair miraculously, and am I envious? And envious is the correct term. When I see women with a head full of hair, I'm like, I don't even want long hair. I just want my head fully covered.
Oh,
But but then I'm okay. I get over it.
Mhm.
I get
right.
over it because that's
Me
not my
too.
reality
Me
right
too.
now.
I was
Yeah.
looking at
Right.
this young lady last night in church. Her hair was because I had a leadership meeting. It was so thick and beautiful. And I was just sitting there going, oh my God, I miss my hair. But you get those moments. I have to be real. I do. I'm embracing it. I'm learning, but I haven't had it as long as you. It's just been maybe 3 or 4 years that it started. But it's so funny. This all back here grows. So I have to cut it because this is all growing out and it's just thin up here. But
Oh, I just
Mhm.
want to just any woman that's listening right now and anybody that's listening right now, one, we want to just pray for our black men and women that we could be in harmony, as Theo would say, that we would just be like a beautiful song and harmony, a melody together, that we don't have to prove that we got to protect Black women. We know that Black men love us,
Yeah.
right? We know that we're in a society where there are ways where they can't do what they want to do. Like Black men really want to punch some people in the face. They really want to go ham on some people who disrespect us as Black women. Unfortunately, they won't have jobs. They won't have lives.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, they'll be in jail. So we have to embrace each other. And as Black women, we have to let our Black men know that I know you love me. I know you protect me. I don't want you out here in these streets fighting. I don't want you slapping nobody. That is not protection. All I need to know, I just need you to make me feel secure that our home is covered, right? And not a fabulous mansion, that we are working together to make sure the bills are taken care of. We are working together. I am secure that you are coming home to me and there is nothing distracting you from our life. We don't want to, I think we're using taking the word protection out of context. We want security. Black women want to feel secure, right? Because we got to be careful when we tell a Black man or a man. I'm not sure about other men, but I've dealt with Black men. We got to be careful with the language that we use. When we say protection, that means fight, brute, masculine, alpha. We want to feel secure. Like Theo said, when Judge Jackson's husband kissed her on her forehead, when her daughter smiled at her, when
Mhm.
she felt unity and support. We as Black women want to feel secure. Yes, we want you to protect us if necessary, if we are in harm's way, not if somebody tells a joke. We want to, let me free the Black men tonight. For all Will Smith, we want to feel secure. We don't want you to be a brute. We don't want you to come out of character. And I know he's been through a lot, so we're going to pray for him. And again, I want all of the beautiful Black women out here who had to cut their hair, who have alopecia, who have thinning hair on top, whether it's not alopecia, whether it's from something else, whether it's from a medication, whether you don't have edges. I want you to know that beauty is within. This outside shell don't mean nothing. And I got a head full of hair.
Mhm.
Okay. And I have to remind myself too that I'm not my hair, because sometimes I could get attached to this mop. But seeing the beauty of us tonight, and the transparency and talking about this, that any day, and my aunties, well, one of my aunts that passed away, and my dad, they went bald on top. Like that's her, hair is
Mhm.
hereditary.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, like it's possible. So I just want us to know that we have to love ourselves from the inside. And Jada Pinkett, your hair, we love you, girl. We don't care about your bald head. You beautiful. With a head full of hair, with a wig, with a weave, with a scarf, with a hat. Sheila, you beautiful. Regina, you beautiful. Theo, you beautiful. Trey, you beautiful. No edges, no hair, no nothing. It comes from the inside. Go ahead, Theo.
So the only thing that I want to say, because I know it over, is just thinking about this topic, I'm thinking about love lessons,
Yes.
right? And so I want to say to people that if they have not tuned in, they need to tune in on Friday night at 8 p.m. to listen to Love Lessons, because I think the sharing that's going on there also is relevant to this topic, right? Because those are men that are talking about, real men, not celebrity, real men who are
Mhm.
talking about how they are definitely protecting their wives, and in the way that we're talking about it, right? They're not
Yes.
talking about physically. They're talking about respecting their wives. They're talking about making their wives feel secure. They're talking about supporting their wives. So I just want to make a shameless plug for Love Lessons on Friday
Oh,
at 8 p.m. because I mean, and I'm not married. Like my goal is to be married again, right? At some point, if that's what God has for me. But even as a single person, I'm learning a lot from those conversations.
oh, thank you. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like we really, really, really do this every week to possibly and hopefully help one woman. Before we come on, we pray and ask God to use us as his vessel. We pray and we just ask God to have his way. We pray that somebody will be motivated, inspired, moved to live, to love themselves, to keep going, to understand one. And I love this week for Jada. from Sheila and Regina Jada, you are not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And if the point that so many of us feel like we are alone in a thing, and this is why we must. And I said this the other day when I was speaking at a conference or virtual conference. You must share your story. There is a tribe of women and there is a tribe of men. For the men who are listening, your people are waiting for you. You are, and I said this, you are a Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I opened my mouth and shared my story of committing adultery, women from all over the world came in my inbox, my email, my text messages saying, Me too. You, my friend who are listening, my sisters who are on this panel, and my co hosts, my beauty flies, somebody is waiting for you so that they can say, Me too. So I need you to open your mouth, each and every person listening, and share your worst, what you thought was your worst story, what you thought was the worst thing that happened to you, what you thought was your biggest mistake, because somebody needs to be freed and loved on through your story so that they can say, wow, me too. I have alopecia. I don't have edges. I cheated on my husband. I lost a baby. I had an abortion. I was homeless. I didn't know who I was. I stole something. I was in jail. Somebody's going to hear you and say, me too. Like Regina just said, thank you, Sheila. You just freed me. Me too.
Yeah.
She showed us her head.
Yeah.
She free tomorrow to go and live her best life because
Mm-hmm.
somebody told their story, because Sheila opened up her mouth and said, this is what I'm going through.
Yep.
So when I saw Jada, I resonated. I didn't agree with what her husband did, but I get it.
Yep.
And that's all we're here tonight to say. Will we get it?
Right. No, exactly.
We
No,
get it. We understand. We love you, Will, but don't put your hands on nobody else. And anybody who was watching, understand, as our mothers used to say to us with our brothers and sisters and our cousins, keep your hands to yourself. When somebody come running in the living room crying, such and such hit me. What your mother say? Keep your hands to yourself.
yeah.
Don't you hit nobody else. So
Yeah.
that's our message for tonight. Somebody out here has your story. You are not alone. Me too.
Yes.
The worst thing you thought happened to you happened to somebody else. Thank you for tuning into the Woman to Woman show. We don't take that lightly. It's a privilege to be in your life. Follow us on Instagram at W2W show, at W2W show. Please subscribe to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel, and don't forget to share, because sharing is caring. Again, we believe truth plus transparency equals healing. And remember, you are only as sick as your secrets. It's healing time. See you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. Ciao, and we will see you next week. We love you. Peace and blessings, my beauty flies. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sister, I need to walk with me on this journey. Yes, hold me accountable, 'cause sometimes I need to know the truth. Sister, I love you. We're one in the same, 'cause we're sharing the pain of the world as we know it to be. Sister, I need you to walk with me on this journey. Yes, hold me accountable.